What's going on, guys? Matthew back again, this time for another movie review. Today we're reviewing The Substance. Let's get into it.
Perfect.
The Substance is directed by Coralie Fargeet. Hope I'm pronouncing that right. It stars Demi Moore as Elizabeth Starr, Margaret Qualley as her clone Sue, and Dennis Quaid as the evil producer Harvey, clearly after Harvey Weinstein. Starting with the plot, I'm going to give it a 9. I liked everything except the fact that Demi Moore, or Elizabeth, I should say, never really communicates with her clone Sue. They only ever communicate by what they leave around the house, such as Elizabeth would leave chicken bones and everything because she's been doing nothing but eating and stuffing her face, while the clone Sue would leave beer bottles. Other than that, I really wish that they would have just found a way to communicate. I don't know if any of you have seen Severance or not, but in that show, they're able to record videos of themselves and then watch those and then record a video for the other person. I kind of wish that that would have happened in this movie if Demi Moore could have communicated with, or Elizabeth, I should say, would have communicated with Sue in another way other than kind of like passive aggressively leaving stuff around the house until ultimately meeting each other in the end. I wish they would have talked to each other. Or at the very least, I wish that when Demi Moore woke up as the younger version, it was still her consciousness. Now, the only disadvantage of that is that you don't have the capability of them meeting each other or having different personalities. But I feel like you either have to do one or the other. You either have to have them have the same personality, and then the character of Demi Moore has to experience life as a younger girl and an older woman, and has to decide for herself which one she wants, or have it where these two characters are going to communicate. Having it where they don't really communicate for the entire movie until the very end. I understand what the messaging is and what the subtext is, but I still would have liked it if these two characters could have interacted more than what they did in the movie. Moving to the writing, I didn't really have a problem with it given how on the nose this movie is trying to be, and sometimes it's a little too on the nose. I'll get into that later. But the writing I thought was fine for the characters that were being presented. Dennis Quaid's character, Harvey, for example, way over the top, but that's how he was designed to be, so it's hard to criticize any of that writing. I thought the writing was right on point for the type of movie this was and the type of tone that it was trying to set, so I'm going to give the writing a 10. Moving to the cinematography, this is absolutely a 10. There's a lot of grotesque and even sexy things in this movie, which has a lot to do with what the movie's about. It's obviously about getting work done on your face in Hollywood if you're a woman, having those beauty standards, having to live up to the standards set by these younger girls in their 20s, and you're still trying to make it in Hollywood as a woman in your 50s, 40s, or 60s, and how difficult that can be and what these women put themselves through. But the cinematography in this movie is very good and showcases both of those aspects of Hollywood very well. There's a lot of grotesqueness in this movie that if you have a weak stomach, you're not going to be able to get through it. That has to be stated heavily. If you don't like gore, this is not the movie for you. But beyond the gore, beyond the effects, and beyond how beautiful Margaret Qualley is, the camera work is very well done. There's one moment when they first switch for the first time. It does a very low budget effect of moving into a dark room and just having repeated lights flickering to express the situation that Demi Moore's character is in. And that is coupled with also seeing her eyes switch from blue to green and actually having someone crawl out of her is pretty impressive. But I think the camera work mixed with the gore and the effects, they're all very good. I didn't find any of the effects unbelievable or too fake. It does get out of hand, but that's on purpose, and I'll touch on that later. But as far as the cinematography, I have to give that one a 10 as well. Okay, moving to acting, I'm going to have to give this one a 10 as well. And I want to touch on Dennis Quaid. He was way over the top, but it was a lot of fun. And you could tell that he was having a lot of fun doing it, playing what is essentially Harvey Weinstein, but just like a way over the top version. There's one moment where he's firing Demi Moore's character, Elizabeth, just because she's old now and they're trying to bring in someone new and young and hot. And he's eating all this shrimp and he's just absolutely disgusting. And he's got the shrimp all over the table and even just leaves her there at the table just with all this shrimp at one point. But I thought Dennis Quaid was having a blast. He did a really good job. Obviously, I have to touch on Margaret Qualley and Demi Moore. They both put in a great performance. Demi Moore is very vulnerable in this movie. You do feel bad for her up to a point until it just starts to get excessive. But I thought she did a really good job. Margaret Qualley does a really good job as well as someone who essentially has everything you would ever want, but can only spend a week doing it. And you can see what would happen in a situation like that with someone as spoiled and privileged as a character as that. I thought she did a really good job pulling off that type of girl. So acting is a 10. And finally, the pace. Unfortunately, this is the low point of the movie. I'm going to have to give the pace a 7. The ending really drags, and it's very overindulgent. And it just kind of, at one point, just felt like complaining. The movie is obviously about women having to live up to beauty standards and getting all this work done until finally it's too late and you look like a monster. I get that. But the movie makes that point, and then it makes that point and makes that point and makes that point. It gets to a point where the movie could have easily ended with the final confrontation between Sue and Elizabeth. But then the movie just continues to go on and on and on, and it gets really grotesque. I'm talking about blood spewing everywhere, people just like being really rude to the character and just really on the nose stuff. I feel like if you cut this movie down 15 or 20 minutes, literally just take the last 15 or 20 minutes out of it, I actually think the movie's a lot better than what it is. But I have to give the pace a 7. All in all, it's a very good movie. I do have to recommend it. If you haven't watched it yet, please go out and watch it. Like I said, it is not for people with a weak stomach. It is very grotesque and gory, but very fun. If you like that kind of stuff, which I do. I like movies like The Fly and The Thing, stuff like that. So if you like The Fly, you like The Thing, you'll like this movie. I'm giving this movie a 9.2 out of 10. I do highly recommend it. I believe I watched it on Amazon, but you should be able to find it on Amazon. Give it a watch. If you enjoyed this review, please hit that like button, subscribe. Let me know in the comments below if I got anything wrong, if you disagree with me or agree with me. Like I said, please hit that like button, subscribe, and we'll catch you guys next time. Take it easy.